In this video, you will learn how to use a drop saw. First, you must apply appropriate PPE gear, which includes leather shoes, an apron, safety glasses, and earmuffs. The compound mitre saw at the school is worth $820. Here are the parts of it. On the top, we have the handle and the trigger to start it. On the side, there's the motor, which powers the saw. At the front of the saw, you find the safety cover, which when pulled back, exposes the blade used for cutting your materials. The vertical metal sheet along the bottom is called the fence, and it helps to hold your wood in place when you are cutting it. The flat metal piece along the bottom, as seen, is called the table, which your wood rests on when you are cutting it. On the saw at school, you'll find these collapsible benches on the side, which are perfectly level with the table. This allows wood to be slid across them and cut. This is the mitre angle pointer, and the handle is called the handle grip. By moving the handle grip, you can change the angle at which the blade will cut your piece of wood. The angles are marked on the black gauge. As this is a compound mitre saw, it has a second angle gauge, so it has two angles at which can be adjusted to cut your piece of wood. Before cutting your piece of wood, you must ensure that both the angle gauges are tight, the box around protecting any flying pieces of wood is all sturdy, and that your airflow is on in the vacuum. When making a cut on the drop saw, you'll make a pencil line on where you want to cut, and then bring it to the drop saw. Without turning the saw on, you want to pull it down and make sure that the saw will perfectly line up with the marking that you've put down, whilst holding it tight against the table and the fence. Once you know that the drop saw is lined up, you can bring the drop saw back up, press the button on the top and pull the trigger in after. The saw will start with a jolt, and you just need to slowly make your cut, making sure you push all the way through the wood and return it to upright before releasing the trigger. To make a 45-degree cut, use the marking square to draw up a 45-degree angle, and using the mitre angle pointer and the handle grip, move it to 45 degrees. Make sure it's lined up perfectly. This small piece of wood is a bad example of what to cut on the drop saw. You should always have a large piece of wood that you can safely hold hands away from the drop saw. Before making your diagonal cut, you'll want to again bring down the drop saw without the motor on, make sure that it lines up, and then slowly bring it down, making sure you push it all the way through the wood. A mitre joint can easily be made by pointing the mitre angle pointer by moving the handle grip to a 45-degree angle and cutting down. This is how a mitre saw can be used to make perfect mitre joints.